Hello and welcome. This is how to make 2025 your best year yet. And I really 2024 was my best year yet, and so I'm excited to share the wisdom from what I learned in the previous year to this year because there was two big things and big shifts that I created last year. So I had been dreaming for 14 years to do this very specific trip to Greece, and I completed my dream trip in 2024. And I actually, even as a solopreneur, walked away from my business for an entire month and was extremely successful. And this ties into my second goal. My highest revenue month was the month I didn't work. I was in the country only 4 days that year, so 4 days that month last year, and it was my highest grossing revenue month. And I in 2024, I quadrupled my revenue. I hit my upper limit on how many coaching clients I can have at one given time, which is something I've been working towards for a couple of years. I'm This year, 2025, I'm already learning my upper limit in what is the number of speaking engagements I can do. So I am constantly living my dreams. And I was just saying to somebody earlier, it's like I don't even know what's next because I keep declaring that I want to do things and they're there immediately. I set a goal to get 50 speaking opportunities this year in 2025. When I started telling people in November, December I was going to do this, it felt impossible. I already have 27 of those speaking opportunities booked. And I'm now the first speaking opportunity I can take. I'm looking in May, June, and July of this year because I'm halfway to my goal. And so, anyways, part of this presentation is going to teach you a little bit. I teach people how to be manifesting machines like myself, but also just the structure of what are the steps that you need to take to make 2025 your best year yet? Because it's actually very clear the steps you can take to work towards. So, the first step is just letting go of 2024. So notice for a minute what was great about 2024 and just take a second to reflect. And what was challenging about 2024? Again, take a second to reflect. And whether or not it was a good year or a bad year is actually irrelevant because all meaning is assigned by ourselves. And so my bad year could be somebody else's amazing, like their dream. So just noticing whether or not you labeled 2024 as good or bad or challenging or whatever that was, all of that meaning is assigned by us. So at any given moment, you can choose to reframe and find the golden nuggets from 2024. And really, this just means looking at all of the challenges. And I have a firm rooted belief system in this. It's served me very well over the years. Every challenge, every struggle I face, there's some lesson. There's something I can learn and grow from, some like positive element that I can move forward with. And I think of these as the golden nuggets. And really my work that I do with people is how do we constantly look at, of course, when things are easy and they're flowing and they're fun, it's easy to find the golden nuggets. But when they're challenging, when it's hard, when it's painful, it's really it's really challenging for us to see what is the tiny little benefit we got from it. Even if it's just learning, okay, that thing that we committed to is not in alignment. That maybe that as a relationship within the thing we did that burnt us out, whatever it is, that wasn't in alignment for us. And what I really help people do is help them look at the things in the past, releasing the emotion, releasing the attachment, releasing the story that we're telling about that thing so that we can more easily attach to the golden nuggets. I do that through biofeedback and neuroscience based processes. But it's really, if we only have one job, is to find the golden nuggets in everything. There is always some reason that that thing happened for us. I love it. More people jumping in. There's always some reason that that thing happened for us. So let's just take a minute to tune in and take a deep breath. You can even close your eyes if you want. Put your hands on your heart. Just breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. We're going to release and let go of any assigned meaning that we had on 2024. This is one of the first steps to actually being able to reflect on 2024 is just tune in and say to yourself, like, what if I could just let go of any assigned meeting, whether it was good or bad? I could let go of any struggle or challenge that happened in 2024 and just be open to finding the gifts, open to finding the wisdom. Just take another deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth, releasing any struggle or hardship or pain or challenge that you experienced in 2024. And you may not know the gift yet, but when we can release the hardship part, the emotion that we have, the negative emotion keeps us from being able to reflect. So just take another deep breath out. Whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. And the reason why I wanted to do this, releasing the assigned meaning, releasing the challenge, is reflection is the key to growth. But when we are stuck in the pain and the negative emotion of something, you can't actually properly reflect because your judgment and you basically are looking at it subjectively through the lens of the pain or whatever that was, instead of objectively being able to reflect. I like to think of reflection as blameless retrospectives. That's like corporate speak, but it's basically saying, looking back at what happened without assigning blame, shame, guilt, or shoulds, just looking back at the past and saying, what happened and how can we be a little bit better? So here's a great question for you. Have you taken the time to reflect on 2024 yet? And sat down and really reflected on, the joys and the things that happened, reflected on the challenges and the struggles and the opportunities for growth. And if you haven't taken time to reflect, we'll have a microsecond in this call in a minute to do that. But reflection is the key to growth. And it is and oftentimes there's two reasons why we avoid reflecting. Either it's that we assign the blame, the shame, the shoulds, the guilt to ourselves, like, oh my God, I did this thing and I wasted money, or I wasted time, or, I did this action in my business and it totally burnt me out. Like, that was stupid. I shouldn't have done that. Look at all the consequences. Like, instead of looking at it through that, like, we don't want to make ourselves feel bad, so we avoid it. Or we just blow off these things because we don't have time. Life is going a million miles per hour. I swear to God, time is getting faster and there's just less and less time in the day. And even myself, and I know that reflection is so important. Even myself, if I don't have built-in accountability, I will blow off this reflection time. So accountability is super important. And in fact, having any form of accountability, whatever that is, increases your success by up to 95%. And you get to build in whatever kind of accountability is going to work for you. You maybe I've had accountability through masterminds. I built accountability into my Empowered Living membership. And because that's how I do it, is when I teach people, I co-work with them. So we do it together. I've heard of people, one of my clients has a friend that they text on Monday, when are they going to get done? And then they text on Friday, what did I actually get done? What got in my way? Any accountability structure is amazing. It doesn't matter what it is. Any structure is going to increase your success to actually doing the thing by 95%. So if you haven't taken a minute to reflect, that's just feedback, not good or bad, just feedback, noticing. And I would actually take a moment in your calendar to schedule some time to reflect on 2024 now and really go through and look at these things. How can you be a little bit better in 2025? Because if we're not looking at what happened, we start from where we are to where we want to be, and we see this chasm between. It's like the big gap between where we are and where we want to be. But when we take the time to reflect, we can use those reflection and learnings, and that actually like fills in as building blocks, so we can like walk across that gap instead of having to make this big leap. But if we're so busy moving through our life, we're not taking the time to reflect it. We just are always trying to leap towards our goals without reflecting on what's worked for us in the past. So here's our microcosm reflection time. Just notice, what were your goals in 2024? And if you want to write them down, you can, or you could just take a second to reflect. What were your goals? Hopefully you know them off the top of your head. That's great. If you don't know them off the top of your head, that's feedback that you probably weren't as intentionally focused on them, and that's okay. That's just feedback. And if you didn't even take the time to set 2024 goals, now is a great time to start. We got plenty of time in 2025 to set our goals. And so just take a second to reflect, and what were the actions that made the biggest difference for you? Is there a thing you did or something you started that supported you? I know for me, really what helped me in 2024 make progress is I actually started putting project time on my calendar. I have 4 hours every week, which is non-negotiable, to focus on projects, planning, reflection, 4 hours every precious week hour in my work week. And so that's 10% of my time every week I'm reflecting. So just notice. And where did you get distracted? These are great questions to ask yourself when you're reflecting on 2024, is where did you pull yourself off your goals? Where, like, looking at, or if you didn't set goals, that's, where did you get distracted in setting your goals? But for me, one of the ways I get distracted is I overcommit to things. As soon as I have space in my calendar, I say yes to something new. And that is a way I sabotage my success on my goals because I'm starting new things all the time. And by knowing that about myself, I figured that out in 2023. And so in 2024, I set a new rule that each month I could only say yes to, and I picked, depending on the month, looking at my calendar ahead of time, I could only say yes to 2 or 3 things, and that's it. On top of my regularly scheduled programming, like I have a certain amount of networking events I go to a month, a certain amount of sales calls I work on a month, certain amount of connect calls, a certain amount of time I devote to trainings each month with, coaches or mentors I've hired. But brand new things that are like a webinar or an invitation to do something with somebody. Most months I could only say yes to 2 or 3 things, and that was personal and professional. And so I got really clear, instead of just being, oh, I'm really interested in this. I started pausing and saying, is this going to help me get towards my goals? Even though, for example, I love human design. And so every time somebody's talking about a human design workshop, my first inclination is, yeah, let's go to that because I want to learn more about it. But if it's not aligning with my 2024 goals, I oftentimes would reply to the person that invited me to the free webinar or workshop and say, this doesn't work. Will you when's the next time you're offering it? I'll put it on my calendar for a couple months or whenever the next time you're offering it is, so that I can focus on that in the future. But right now I'm going to focus on my goals. So just knowing how I distract myself is such a powerful tool in helping me move forward. So now that we've reflected on 2024, this is a perfect time to think about, what do you want to create in 2025? Like, what do you want more than anything else? And this is if you're able, if it's safe for you to write down, I highly recommend jotting down just off the top of your head, what do you want in 2025? And ways to ask this question, if there's specific things you already know that you want, write them down. What do you want more of in 2025? Maybe it's more money, more clients, more downtime, more vacation. Write down, what do you want? What do you want more of? And another way to ask this question is, if anything were possible, there's no limitations, there's no time or money limitations. That's what most people are limiting ourselves on. What's the one thing you want to happen in 2025? And you don't have to limit yourself to one, but come up with at least one. If anything on earth were possible. And that's where I started asking myself this question, because I found I was like, oh, in 2025, wouldn't it be great if I went up in my revenue by, 50%? In 2024, I went up in my revenue by 400%. And so, but that didn't seem possible. And so I love to ask this question without the limitations. Just like if there were anything on earth or possible, there's no limitation. What do you want in 2024? Because when you get clear in what you want, especially if you're focused on, when you focus on 10 things, it might be hard to make these like quantum leaps like I did, like a 400% increase, although that actually amazingly happened very effortlessly. And once we get into the steps, I'll tell you my secret around how that works. But really, if you have at least one thing that feels absolutely impossible, but you want it in 2025, write that down. And really, we've actually already achieved the first step in uh there's 5 steps to making 2025 the best year you ever. So get clearer in what you want. But I'm jumping ahead of myself. We'll go through those steps in a minute. And what's it going to take to get there? So this is when I talk about these quantum leaps and these crazy things, 400% increase in revenue. I taking a month off in my business, which feels insane. I literally didn't work in my business for 3.5 weeks, which I mean, seeing as how I see my clients every 2 weeks, that felt absolutely impossible until I found a way to make it happen. So whatever you want in 2025, the steps that got you to where you are now are not going to be the same steps that are going to get you to that quantum leap. The goal is, if you want different results, if you want amazing, spectacular results in your life that feel impossible to create, you have to be willing to do things differently. Albert Einstein is quoted as like the definition of insanity is doing the same thing again and again and again and expecting different results. And so we need to be able, if we want different results, we need to be able to approach things, and doing things different might be shifting your mindset, shifting the energy that you have on something, or letting go of this negative unconscious energy. And or it could be taking different action results in the 3D world. So to have the best year yet, you're likely going to need to get some new tools, create some new systems, get some support, and of course, I already mentioned accountability. But I want to share with you the amazing and a success story of something that is possible when you get new tools, you get new systems, some of the success you can create. So this is Sabrina. She's one of my clients. She's one of my amazing success stories that come through. And I started working with her. She hired me her very first month of being a full-time entrepreneur. And in that time, like I said, first full-time month, she had no guaranteed income. She had some clients scheduled, but when we started working together, and she works with me privately, she's also a part of my membership. When she started working with me privately, she was really stressed out about the idea of a $550 a month payment that was like every single month. She was like, "Oh my gosh, how am I ever going to be able to do this?" And then we worked together privately for 6 months. And within 6 months, she had guaranteed every single month was $10,000 revenue or more every single month. Going from $0 guaranteed revenue, like she had a couple clients scheduled. By the way, I forgot to mention, she is a boudoir and branding photographer because she's all about women's empowerment and confidence. So when we started working together, she had a couple clients scheduled, but no guaranteed income. Within 6 months, $10,000 guaranteed income. By the time of 12 months of us working together, she has actually worked her way up to $20,000. She's tracking $20,000 a month by the end of 2025. So going from zero guaranteed income to within a year and a half, $20,000 months, is because she got very clear. She started doing things differently. She got support, she got tools, she got systems. So I just wanted to share with you, when I'm talking about my own stories of quantum leaps, it's not just my story. There are so many people that share these stories as well. And so with that, we're going to get into the 5 steps that will make 2025 your best year yet. So I'm going to take you through each and every one of the steps and teach you how to do them yourself. And then at the very end, I actually have a membership that we go through all 5 of these steps. And there'll be an offer to learn more and potentially join the membership if you're interested. All right, so step number 1 to making 2025 your best year yet, I already hinted at this, get crystal clear in what you want. And what's important about this is it needs to be a real desire. And so much of our times, what we want is the opposite of what we have now. And so we're trying to get away from something we don't want. But a real desire is something we want because we want it. There's no other reason behind it. And a perfect example of that real desire is when I talked about my vacation that I went to Greece. I wanted to go to Greece and live on a sailboat for a month because I wanted to live on a sailboat in Greece. There's no secondary intentions. I'm not trying to get away from something or whatever, but it has to be, there's no secondary intention. So if you have a secondary intention, you want this because it's going to get you that, then it's not a real desire. And most of the time, we live in this problem solving world, which is one of the next steps. But just what is it that you want because you want it? And so, really examining the why, the rationale. Why do I want this thing? What do I think it's going to get me? And I'll share with you, money is not a desire. And this is where all of us get hung up because every time I teach how to be a manifesting machine, every time I ask people what they want to manifest, I would say 9 out of 10 people say, I want to manifest more money. The problem is money is not a real desire. And really, by the way, the steps to make 2025 your best year yet is also the steps on how to become a manifesting machine. And if you're trying to manifest more money, if you're wanting to make money, you are stopping yourself because it's not about the money. You don't want money because it's a swimming pool of money. It's what the money is going to get you. So the money has a secondary intention behind it, whether that's vacations, feeling of ease or freedom, scaling your business because you have time to invest, whatever that money is going to get you. That's what your real desire is. So you know what your real desire is and how you answer this question. If you had $1 million and it was given to you today, you have 1 week to spend it. You cannot invest it. You cannot pay off debt, and you cannot give any of it away. How would you spend that money? However you answer that question, those are your real desires. It's not the money that you want. So I just wanted to share that step number 1 in making 2025 your best year yet. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat. If you come off mute and jump on, your voice will be on the recording on YouTube, but that's all good. So step number 2, I was alluding to this, but this is what's so important, is get out of a problem-solving mindset. We live and orient our entire lives around problem solving, which makes sense because our country, or at least if you live in America, America is founded on problem solving. And what was the problem? Overtaxation from England. What were we going to do? Throw tea in a bay, have a revolution. So many other countries have this, but our country is so ingrained in problem solving. And another reason we're so indoctrinated in problem solving is because it feeds the corporate consumerism monster. And so we've been taught and conditioned from a very young age. You're overweight. You need this pill to lose weight. Then you can love yourself. And it's like, you're not pretty without the makeup. You need to buy makeup and then that person will love you or whatever it is. So we're in this problem solving mindset. I have a problem. And it's everywhere in our culture. We're raised and it's not good or bad or wrong or right. It just is. So we are taught that there are problems and we need to solve them. And when we solve our problem, then we can get what we want. So if we get out of a problem solving mindset, that is what helps. And the thing is, stop trying to fix yourself. So much, and this is where some personal development kind of goes wrong in their intentions. Because I love and I do a lot of personal development, but there's some messaging that's not clear, or the subtext is there's something wrong with you. You're broken. You need to be fixed. Now you need to pay me a ton of money and, come to my workshop and then I'll fix you. Then you can have what you want. When you fix your worthiness, then you can have what you want. The problem is, when you've given your power away in that situation, you don't need to be fixed because you're not broken. So there's only one thing you walk away from this presentation with. There's nothing wrong with you. You can have what you want now. You don't have to fundamentally change anything about who you are. You don't need to fix your worthiness. You don't need to XYZ. You don't need to change yourself. You just need to be more effective in how you orient, shift your mindset to be more effective to creating what you want. but I don't need to I don't need to be worthy and then I can have my dreams. Let me tell you, I have my own insecurities, my own unworthiness. I'm not good enough. I don't deserve that. I have plenty of that going on, just like everyone else. And yet I can constantly manifest my dreams because I'm not focused on trying to fix myself. I just focus on my dreams. And so that's one thing I want to share. And one thing that makes me very different from everybody else in this like personal development, personal growth, learning kind of sphere is my goal is to teach you how to tap into your own magic because you can create whatever you want. You just need to know how to create it. And my goal is to teach you how to tap into your magic, and then you don't need me. Like I'm not your guru. I'm not going to fix you. I'm going to teach you how to tap into your own magic so you could just be your most magical, amazing self. You can, once you know the recipe to create your best year, you can just do that again and again and again. So that's just one thing I want to share. So when you get out of problem solving mindset, well, what do you do? And again, it's not, I need to get out of problem solving mindset. It's just shift into a manifesting mindset. Because if you're trying to get out of a problem solving mindset, you're just trying to get away from your problem solving mindset. That's going to create more of the same. So let's talk about what a manifesting mindset is and how really the number one thing that affects us, our number one thing problem in making 2025 the best year yet is our mindset around it. So what a problem, and so I'm describing what a problem solving mindset looks like so you can identify when you are in it, and then I'll talk about how you can shift it. So a problem solving mindset was when we're trying to move away from something we don't want. I want abundance because I'm sick of living paycheck to paycheck, or because I'm sick of asking my, bank account if I can do that thing I want. I heard somebody say, it's like, I want abundance because I'm sick of looking at my bank account before I order guacamole on my meal. And so we orient from this place of like, we don't want to be there. We want the guacamole, but we want to not have to ask for that guacamole. But the thing is if you're in a mindset, when I am worthy, then I can make the money. When I lose the weight, then I'll do the boudoir photos. Whatever that is, when you're in a when this changes, then I can have what I want. That's how you know you're in a problem solving mindset. When I have the right tool, then I can scale my business. When I have the money, then I can invest in the coach and support that I need. It's just reinforcing again and again the issue with problem solving mindset is that it just reinforces that we don't have what we want. And really that's a big gap when you're trying to manifest. You need to have the identity of the person that has it already. So when you're in a manifesting mindset, it's important that you notice where do you have a little bit of what you want already. So like most of us live in this, I want abundance because I'm sick of being broke. I want love because I don't want to be lonely anymore. I want health because I don't want to be sick. And it's really how can we focus on where we have health, love, and abundance in our lives right now. So a manifesting mindset is all about getting clear on the rationale. This is kind of, harking back to step number one. Why do you want that thing that you want? What is the rationale? What's underneath it? Because if it's anything more than I want it because I want it, then you know that you're not in a manifesting mindset, you're in a problem-solving mindset. So you get clear in what you want, and then once you know what you want and it's a real desire, you visualize it, and you visualize it each and every day. And that sounds overwhelming, but really I visualize while I brush my teeth. I've invested that time already, and my trust me, your subconscious memory, it's automatic or like autopilot is what people call it, but it's a subconscious memory. My hand knows how to brush my teeth. I do not. I can use that time for whatever I want. So why not spend that time in visualizing your dream? And the important thing about visualizing is not just seeing a picture in your mind. P.S. If you struggle with visualization, please reach out to me. There are a lot of things. I have worked with 3 clients that when I say, what does your mother's face look like? Or what does your house look like? They're not able to call up a picture in their mind. I've had 3 clients that are that way. And I've able to help them. I've been able to teach them how to visualize effectively. So being able to see pictures in your mind is kind of a misnomer. It's an easy way to do it. Most people can call up pictures, but if you struggle with visualization, please reach out to me. I am here to support you in learning a way to do that for you, because visualization, the important thing is getting into the emotion of it. And it's just that getting into the emotion of something is challenging, can often be challenging if we don't somehow tune into the energy the image of it, the sense, make it a sensory experience. We'll talk more about that later. But visualizing every single day is how you start. And the other reason I like to visualize while I brush my teeth, I'm starting and ending my day in a manifesting mindset. And the more you condition your consciousness to go into a manifesting mindset, it's part of the reason why I'm a manifesting machine. And truly, I am a manifesting machine, is because I am literally putting myself in a manifesting mindset multiple times every day. And when you do that over time, you start unconsciously being, it's not just the time you're brushing your teeth. I'll spend hours in that manifesting mindset after I spend time visualizing. So to be in a manifesting mindset is visualizing just a little bit of what you want every day, and then focus on taking baby steps regardless of the external circumstances. And this is, and a baby step. So when I'm talking about 2025, your best year yet, I recommend when you're thinking about like, what do you want? Including things like health, relationships, hobbies and free time and leisure and fun and play, and your career or your job or your business, and every aspect of your life, I think should be included, because we get so I'm speaking, by the way, I'm always speaking from my own experience in this, like how I did it wrong, that I stopped myself, and then what I figured out and unblocked myself and moved forward. Is I used to be so myopically focused on my business and growing my business. I would set like 5 business goals and I would have 0 health goals, 0 relationship goals, 0 fun goals. And I was so busy focused on my business but I was coming from this place as, I'm not making the money I want. I need to focus harder. And so one of the things I did is, at one point I realized, I was like, wow, I'm really only focused on this like one spoke. If like all of the elements of your life are spokes on a wagon wheel, I only really am ever looking at this one spoke, and I'm really neglecting the other 7 spokes of the wheel. And so one of the things I started doing a couple years ago is I started setting relationship goals. And it's like, I want to deepen my relationship with 5 different people this year and really spend quality time with them. Or this year I set a board game goal with other people, because that's a way that's a goal I can have, that's a hobby and it's a social relationship thing, because I play games with my friends. And so like I've set health goals, I've set, and I've started doing this a couple years ago, health goals, relationship goals. And that's not to overwhelm you with a million goals, but it's to keep your focus on something. Because then when I'm doing this visualization each and every day, if you can, I can do my whole visualization in 2 minutes now, because I've done it that many times. And of course, my visualization changes and upgrades as I achieve those things. But I'm so practiced in visualization in general that what I do is I can do it really quick. But it starts with, maybe tonight you visualize, what does your healthy body look and feel like? And what are the things that would be available to you to do when you have this amazing healthy body? Maybe tomorrow morning when you brush your teeth, you focus on visualizing part of your business or a career goal or something a project you want to finish. Maybe tomorrow night you think about your home. The next day you think about relationships. And then each and every time you visualize, it's just about taking a baby action step. And when I focus on relationships and I visualize that, I will just send a text to one of those 5 people that I love and be like, hey, I'm thinking about you. Hey, guess what? That's an action step. And there's no action step too little, because it is intentionally focused on something I want to create. And here's what happens. And the reason why I say regardless of the external circumstances is, so many of us get caught in this loop of, we're working on a goal and then something happens in our life. And then we put our goals to the side. When this problem gets resolved, like for example, I've had this happen, in my personal life or whatever. I'm working on, I have an abundant business. I'm working on, learning or getting a new certification. This actually happened when I was working towards getting an NLP certification. Something, and I don't even remember what it was because it was years ago now, but something fell apart in my personal life and I put my certification completely on hold. And I said, when I resolve this issue in my life, then I will go back to completing the certification. Guess what? Still to this day, I got 90% done, never completed that certification, because I put it on hold and put it on the back burner. And thing after thing after thing after thing got in the way. And then I found actually what I do now. And so which incorporates NLP, and it's anyways. But I had a client who came to me because she was really clear. She was a part-time business owner, really a hobby business owner, and a full-time stay-at-home mom. And she really wanted to be a part-time business owner. Like, she wanted to have a few different clients. She was a hypnotist. And she started working with me because she started noticing every time she went to launch her business, something would happen in her personal life that was out of her control, freak accidents and family emergencies. And then she would put her business idea and her launch completely on the side so that she could fix this thing. And what happened is, and then she fixed it, and then she went to launch her business again, and then something else happened. And then she fixed that, and then she went to launch her business again, and then something else happened. And so what happened is she got in a cycle. 7 catastrophes happened in her life in 3 years. And 3 years had gone by, and she still hadn't launched her business. And she was frustrated. She was sad. And the problem is, she took her eye off the goal. In each and every one of those emergencies in her life, she could have still maybe attended one networking group a month, or gotten one client and worked with one client a month, or put a social media post each day. But she completely tabled her business. She put everything to the side, and then, went to go fix this thing. And then when that distraction was done, then she went back to her business. And it just happened time and time and time again, because she created this system where she was problem solving as a way of sabotaging her progress. So regardless of what's happening to you in your life, please, please, please take note. Still take baby steps towards your goal. And sometimes when you're not able to take action steps in the 3D world, you don't know what you can do. Just visualize it more. Spend a couple extra minutes a day sinking into the energy and the emotions of that, because that is still an investment. You're still taking a baby step. It's a feminine action step versus a masculine action step. Feminine is like in our head. It's about restoring and receiving. Visualizing, daydreaming is all feminine action steps. Masculine action steps are doing the thing. So whether it's a masculine action step in something you're doing in the 3D world, or a feminine action step, something you're doing like in your mind or to restore and rejuvenate yourself, whatever it is, keep taking action steps. So step number 3 to making 2025 the best year yet is, now that you know what you want, you have at least a couple things written down, consider setting some goals around what you want to create. Because when you have this beautiful vision of what you want, if you don't have goals to get there, it just stays this like dream someday in the future. Wouldn't it be nice if I had that? But every time, everything you want, there is some goal that you can create around it. So one of my lifetime goals is to be, and when I am already an international inspirational speaker, but to have that be a primary source of income for me, and to literally fly around the world speaking and giving keynotes. And so that's what I want in the future, is like, I want, a significant portion of my income. I want to fly all over the world speaking and giving talks. So a goal that I set this year is I want 50 speaking opportunities this year, because that is a goal that's going to get me to what I want to create. And if we don't make these goals, then like I said, it just stays pie in the sky. We're not able really to take action on it. It's only when I said I want these 50 speaking opportunities, that's when I was like, okay, to get 50 speaking opportunities, I better start looking for applications. And because I had a goal, I was able to create habits that were going to help me achieve my goal. So just think about whatever you want to create. Is there a goal that you, in 2025, is there a goal that you can set around it? So if what you want is to make $100,000 in your business, what is a goal? Or I guess that it really is a goal. If you want to increase your abundance, a goal is, I want to make $100,000. How you could break that down is like a monthly goal of $11,000 a month, or whatever. I guess $9,000 a month, whatever that is. And just think about, what are some habits you can create and implement that would support you in achieving those goals? So for me, I got clear I wanted 50 speaking opportunities. I put time on my calendar every single week. Like I shared, one of the things that supported me is 4 hours of my week I am working on projects, or I'm working on growing. I'm not like serving clients. I am working on creating a bigger business. So at least 30 minutes a week, I am looking for speaking opportunities and applying. I am following up on speaking opportunities I've already applied for. I've created a habit around looking for speaking opportunities, because that is how I achieve my goal. And I put the time in my calendar. And like, I know that sounds so simple, but it's so easy. There in 2023, I made all these goals, but then I never put time in the calendar to achieve them. And guess how many of my goals I achieved in 2023? Like 1 of 5. In 2024, I achieved all of my goals. I was a little short on my revenue goal, even though I quadrupled my income, but I made a crazy, insane goal. So, really, what I changed in 2024 that made it the best year ever for me is I just put time in my calendar to actually work on my goals. So, a few more parts of step 3 is gather your support team, your tools, your resources. When you have these goals, you're probably going to need, besides putting time on your calendar, maybe you need some more tools or support around them. So, one of the things I got really clear on, half an hour a week is not going to get me 50 speaking opportunities. So, I actually found and hired an assistant that her job is to find me new speaking opportunities and apply for them. And her job is also to support me in my speaking opportunities, because when I have as many as I do now, I need help with the follow up. I need help reminding people to schedule calls and something like and stuff like this. So I found resources. I found a support team. And then there's tools. I actually have a Google search set up that I get emails when it hits certain things, like, women's associations looking for speakers. I get an email anytime that somebody puts those words in on anywhere on the internet. Google sends me an email because that's an amazing tool I have. And consider investing in the support you need to achieve those goals. Like I said, this year I've really invested in my support team around hiring a second assistant. Last year I got really clear that I hired a speaking, sales, and strategy coach in 2024, which is how it's been so easy to get all these speaking opportunities. Is I hired a coach that's specifically about speaking and sales strategy. And consider working on your goals, and consistently working on your goals becomes a lifestyle. Like, you're more determined, you're more committed, you become this like driven person. And that's why it's so important too. You want to be focused on something you want because you want it. Like, I'm not like, yes, the speaking opportunities are, that's a lead magnet into my business, but I do it because I love it. I do it because I love to I love to educate, I love to talk. I love to support people and give them the tools that they need. That lights me up more than anything else, and it's driven me to be so committed. And that's why, again, community and accountability is so important. Is when you consistently work on your goals, you're going to attract people in your life that are driven and successful. And being in a community of those people actually makes you 65% more likely to reach your goals. Fun fact. And so I'm always surrounding myself. My speaking, sales, and strategy coach, not only did I hire her as my mentor, I'm in her community for other people working on growing my sales and speaking. It's supportive of me actually working towards it. And that's also why I created my Empowered Living membership, is to support people in working towards whatever their dreams are. Because when you work together, even if you're working on different dreams, but you're in a community of those people, you just achieve more. All right, moving on to step number 4 of how to make 2025 your best year yet. Releasing resistance. And so this is what I do with my clients using neuroscience-based processes. There's a lot of different ways you can do it. All resistance is it could look like fear, self-doubt, procrastination, unworthiness, all these negative emotions or traumas that are sitting in your subconscious. Because when we want to create things, we need to be in alignment. We need to get in alignment between your thoughts and desires and your emotions and your beliefs. And what happens is when you're in alignment, it's like a fishing pole. You cast out, you reel things in. That's why I've become a manifesting machine, is I am in alignment for the things I'm creating. Not in everything in my life, but and I'm always working on getting in better alignment, because there's no perfect, there's no there, no one ever arrives. It's always about getting better. Here's a problem though. Most of us live out of alignment. We want abundance, but we have emotion, like we have belief systems that we will live paycheck to paycheck because that's what we've done for many years. Or maybe we have emotions around money because we grew up barely having enough. And so when you're trying to fish with a fishing pole that's broken in half like this gap prevents us from being able to actually cast out and reel in what we want. And so it's about getting your emotions and beliefs into alignment with your desires, But here's the kicker. Like I said, I want to reiterate this. It's not about when I release this limiting belief, then I can have what I want, because that's problem solving mindset that prevents you from being able to manifest. It's not about fix my unworthiness, then I can have what I want. It's about just working on what you want. What are your desires? Taking action, casting out with the one part of the fishing bowl that you have. And as you do that over time, you will slowly, whatever you need, that they say when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So as you're working on what you want to create, even if you're not doing it effectively and it's not manifesting yet, just the act of keeping and doing it, keeping and focusing on your goals, keeping and doing your visualization, even if you're not seeing the results in your life, is actually unconsciously creating alignment, partly because you're tricking your subconscious into thinking you have it now. That's what's so powerful about visualization. But it's not, don't go after the problem to fix it. It's not fix the alignment. It's just focus on what you want, and slowly your resistance will release over time. There's other practitioners you can see, but again, that's everything I work with people is about releasing resistance effortlessly. It's not about going after the thing to fix it. So I just wanted to share and reiterate that. But when you release resistance, you just snap into place, you're in alignment, you cast out whatever it is you want, you're pulling back in. So step number 5 in making 2025 your best year yet is, we already talked about this a little bit, but it's visualizing what you want and being devoted to your visualization every single day, visualizing it for just a little bit. Like I said, that's why I love the visualization toothbrushing. You're already using that time, so it's no extra time in your calendar. You're just learning. I am the queen of efficiency, and it's actually, I love biohacking, which is like, how can I make this one thing I'm doing 10 times better for me? So like the other day I was sitting on, I was doing my meditation while listening to sound bath frequencies. And also I was on a frequency machine that was aligning my energy system. So I was like doing 3 different things at once, doing my visualization and my meditation and listening, having a frequency alignment from an auditory sound healing, and on the mat I was in. So that's, I'm the queen of doing that. It's like, I don't have time to do all those things separately. So how can we make things more efficient? So being devoted to your visualization of what you want every day, dreaming about one element of what you want to create in 2025. And again, reminding you, it's about getting into the emotions. It's not just about calling up an image in your mind, although that can be helpful. It's about sensorizing the experience as much as you can. It's about getting into the emotions. And when you get into the emotions and you sensorize it, you actually trick your subconscious into thinking you have it now, because your subconscious can't tell the difference between reality, like what's happening outside of you, a visualization happening in your mind, and a movie or TV content or media or whatever. Your subconscious can't tell the difference. And you know that because anytime you're watching a scary movie and they go, boo, you jump. Your subconscious is reacting as if that thing is happening to you right now. And because the subconscious can't tell the difference, that is why visualization is the most powerful tool to creating whatever it is you want, is visualizing it. Because when you can visualize it in your mind with the emotions, with the senses, you're actually tricking your subconscious into thinking that you have it now. And if you have it now, your subconscious has 2 jobs: keep you safe, and which is recreating things you've already experienced. And if you're tricking it into thinking you have experienced it already through visualizing it, now the subconscious isn't going to hold you back from creating it. And then the second thing your subconscious does is prove you right. And if you're visualizing this thing, I was visualizing every single day with devotion for like a year and a half. When I was visualizing, I could see myself on the sailboat. I was laying on the bow of the boat and I could feel the rocking of the boat. I could feel the sunshine on my face. I could hear the lapping of the waves against the boat. I could hear people laughing on the boat in the background. I could see the like beautiful water and the sun reflecting off the water and the beautiful white bow of the boat that I was laying on. Could taste wine because I was like, what am I going to taste in this? I don't know. They make wine in Greece. So some of these things I had to make up. But I was like, I taste the red wine. I can smell the salt air, and I can smell the like yummy barbecue that people are cooking on the back of the boat. And the emotions I was experiencing is just satisfaction, gratitude, presence. So every time I visualized all of those steps, I was tricking my subconscious into thinking I had it now, and it actually aligned everything I wanted. That trip to Greece was so much easier than I expected because I tricked my subconscious into thinking I'd already been on the trip. So that's why step 5 is visualize what you want. And then again, taking consistent action, one little baby step a day. So if what part of what you want in 2025 is excellent health, maybe your action step of the day is, meal planning for the next week, or, I love batch cooking for my health. Just that's something that makes it efficient. Every time I cook a soup, I cook 5 gallons of soup to make it easier for me. That way I have all of these frozen soups in the freezer that are in alignment with my dietary restrictions. I never have to worry, oh no, I don't have time for food. All I do is thaw a soup, and there I've got a healthy lunch or dinner that's in alignment. So it doesn't have to be, like I said, when I'm focusing on relationships, it's sending a text message, just tiny little actions. Darren Hardy wrote a book about consistent compounding action. And if just taking these little action steps each and every day is so powerful because they really do add up over time. And accountability and support is one of the most important things to keep you in consistent action, because it's easy to fall off the bandwagon of daily actions if you don't have any support or accountability system. So, a quick recap of the 5 steps is get clear in what you want. That's step number 1. And it's what you want because you want it, no secondary intentions. Get into a manifesting mindset, and you do that by visualizing what you want and taking action steps every day. And notice step number 2 and step number 5 are basically the same, but it's just real because it's that important. Step number 3 is set goals, gather tools, start working on your habits, gather your resources, whatever it is, so that you can actively make progress towards what you want to create. And I already mentioned this before, but when you have support and when you're in community, you're actually with other people, even if they're working on different goals, you're all 65% more likely to reach your goals. Step number 4 is releasing our resistance. And that is, we do that by focusing on what we want to create and just keep taking action steps, effortlessly letting whatever is not in service fall away. And again, I want to be clear too. Sometimes when people are working on things, they're like, oh, I need to go through and journal about, notice what I said. And like, we're not like going back and fixing problems in 2024, but like releasing the resistance on 2024. We actually did that. Sometimes it involves action steps, which is like, go reflect and release any resist. Forgive yourself for some of the mistakes you made or whatever. A blameless retrospective, that reflection purpose is a way you can release that resistance, which is holding you back. And that is simply to say, getting in alignment with your emotions and your beliefs so that they can be in alignment with your thoughts of what you want to create in 2025. And then take small action steps every day. And I want to share too is action is the most important thing. We get stuck in fear and we stop taking actions. So having support around your actions is so important. And I want to share with you, the universe rewards quick action. Whatever your divine connection is, universe, God, source, angels, all good. But the universe loves speed. So whatever you decide that you want to create in 2025, immediately taking action steps, immediately getting time in your calendar, immediately gathering resources and tools and support and finding a community. There's actually a principle is the quickest speed of implementation of your idea actually increases success. And I've noticed this time and time and time again. When I get clear on what I want, I literally will take some action that day. And that really supports me. I find amazing results in my life because as soon as I'm given like this seed or this idea, I implement it. I don't wait. And I've just noticed that in myself. If I wait a couple weeks to think about it later, I've lost like the energy, the intention, the momentum that's been created. And so whatever you're doing, consider making a change this week. You have 4 more days, all of today and the rest of the week. consider implementing something this week that's going to support you in your goals because your dreams are waiting for you. It's time to start manifesting them now with ease. And if you'd like support in manifesting, and if you'd like the most obvious action step I can think of, I would love to invite you to learn to join my membership. So I'm going to tell you for just 2 more minutes a little bit about my membership and how it could help you in making 2025 your best year yet. So I mentioned this before. I have the Empowered Living membership. Some of the benefits of, I call it ELM. Some of the benefits is it creates a crystal clear vision of whatever you want. So that's step one, getting clear, releasing any secondary intentions. So you now know exactly what you're working on to make 2025 your best year yet. Every week I do a training on mindset, which is step number 2 in really supporting you and making 2025 your best year yet. And it helps you get out of the problem solving mindset and into the manifesting mindset by doing the training on mindset. Step number 3, we do accountability for goal setting, planning, and reflection. That's all built into the membership. And I built that in because if I don't have it in my calendar, I don't do it. And so I literally, and even when I had it on my calendar, if I was doing it by myself, I would blow myself off. So I built it into the membership. And that is my personally created accountability. Everyone in the membership can come in we do weekly, monthly, quarterly planning and reflection. We do all sorts of goal setting around that. Every single call, everything we do in the Empowered Living membership has a neuroscience-based process associated with it. And so you're effortlessly releasing resistance. Like every call you attend, you don't need to do anything but attend the call, and it's immediately getting you into alignment for what you want to create. And the effortlessly part is what's so neat. It's keeping you in this manifesting mindset and releasing whatever's holding you back from making 2025 your best year yet. There's also support in taking consistent action, which is step number 5. So basically, all together, not only can I help you through this membership, achieve all those steps in making 2025 your best year yet, I promise if you join my membership, you will be a manifesting machine. I know this and I can promise this because it is amazing the results that people have created in this membership and what they've been able to do. So just a little bit so you know the nuts and bolts, and then we'll jump off because I've noticed we just hit the hour time mark. So the Empowered Living membership is a 6-month membership. I have weekly, I already mentioned this, but I have weekly training calls to master your mindset. We do accountability and support weekly, monthly, quarterly planning and reflection. There's 2.5 hours of private one-to-one coaching with me, which is amazing. And this is where we work on your alignment, keeping you in consistent action towards your goals. There is a library of previous trainings. I've been doing this membership for 3 years, and I have over 300 hours of previous trainings you can watch. So at any given moment, you can go say, oh my gosh, I'm procrastinating on my goal and I keep finding myself getting stuck. I'm going to go to Kitty's library and I'm going to search procrastination and watch the video about procrastination so I can learn how to shift my mindset and then the neuroscience-based process to release the procrastination or whatever that is. So this library of recordings, and you're in a community of manifesting machines. And again, just being in the community makes you 65% more likely in making 2025 your best year yet. So if you're interested, I highly recommend signing up today. The next step to becoming a manifesting machine is joining a 15-minute call. If you scan the QR code, I'll also put the link in the chat. Joining a 15-minute call just to see if this membership is in alignment for you. And this membership with all of those neuroscience-based tools and everything we do, it's actually $55 a week, which is an amazing tool because an amazing price point. I'm actually increasing the price by 32% on March 1st. And so if it feels aligned, if that sounds like something you want to talk about or just learn more, please scan the QR code and just learn what it's like to be in this membership. See if it's an aligned fit. And again, jump in before the price goes up. And I guess it's a 20-minute call instead of a 15-minute call. And again, this is just to answer your questions. I'm not trying to push the membership on you. I only want people to join this membership if it's 100% in alignment for them. I only work with people that are win-win, where it's a win for you and it's a win for me, for you to join the membership. It's a win for the membership, really, for you to join. So if you have any question, there's limited spots available. And here, I'll put this link in the chat. I'll stop the recording. Does anybody have any questions?